Trump's lasting legacy will likely revolve around simply closing up the border, which was an unforced error. The longer-term legacy could end up belonging to Elon Musk with DOGE, because for 20 years, 40 years, we've heard about that $75 bolt that the government buys, with the military. I think Reagan brought that up, and no one did anything about it. The lasting legacy could be Elon Musk and DOGE. Welcome to the Doug TenNapel channel as I make my case. Jesse Waters got to sit in on DOGE's big weekly meeting. And so the more they do sit downs like this in public, the more that you'll find, like this channel's covering, what no mainstream media will cover about DOGE, which is the truth. The DOGE message has to get out, that these are normal guys reforming your government's waste, fraud, and abuse. There's lots of examples in this show. Watch this.
Agencies are hiding money from you. They're sending it to the Taliban. They have loaded weapons in the department buildings.
Our government is sending money to the Taliban.
At the Institute of Peace.
At the Institute of Peace.
Yeah.
That's right.
So this is a cover-up when you guys roll in.
This one, yes, a cover-up.
It's a cover-up.
They did delete a vast amount of financial information. That's really a definition of a cover-up.
Isn't that illegal to delete evidence?
Yes.
Shred documents?
It is. It's certainly illegal to delete accounting records that that Congress would certainly want to know where the congressionally appropriated funds are going from taxpayers.
When you catch them going Hillary style on their computers, do you refer this to the Department of Justice?
In this case, we did refer the evidence in the accounting example to the FBI and DOJ. We were proud to do that. So yes, we did.
Where they're shredding documents. So there's a cover up. There's going to be law enforcement go there. I'm going to get to more of that DOGE interview. First, I want to just pop in with a little something on Trump. And it's that he is, let me get the tweet up here. Breaking: President Trump has just signed an executive order eliminating the taxpayer subsidization of NPR, National Public Radio, and PBS, Public Broadcast System. U.S. taxpayers will no longer be funding anti-American propaganda, finally. That is another form of waste, fraud, and abuse. Waste. NPR and PBS are waste. I'm not, I think they do high-quality shows. Love that they do it. It's still a waste for our government to pay for it because everyone's taxes pay for it, but only a few people use the services. Cut it. Let the free market do TV for us. Okay, if you don't mind. Now I'm just going to real quick go to this other small clip about the waste, fraud, and abuse found at the Department of Education. Remember, this money is being wasted instead of educating our kids. Why are Democrats so anti-education that they don't want the money to go to educating your kids instead of being wasted, which is what they're defending? Let's watch.
A lot of great work in the Treasury this week. One of the crazy things with regards to the Treasury is that when a payment is made, and the computers at the Treasury actually pay about $5 trillion per year, like crazy amounts, there was formerly not a budget code on there. So if a payment was made, you didn't know actually what it was for. It could have been for anything. Yeah. There was a $4 billion COVID fund in the Department of Education. And there was no receipts required, so people could just draw down on it. And when people looked into it, this wasn't us, this was before us, they found that money was being used to rent out Caesar's Palace for parties.
Caesar's Palace for parties. $4 billion fund in the Department of Education with zero accountability. Zero accountability. These guys are heroes. They're helping America. And this isn't a Democrat versus Republican thing. It's only become a Democrat versus Republican thing, because Democrats decided to run on stopping Elon Musk. That is, when he tries to stop this billions of dollars being wasted on Caesar's Palace in the Department of Education through an emergency COVID fund, wasting your tax dollars, Democrats want to defend it. I don't get it. They're claiming that like education is being destabilized because these guys are finding waste, fraud, and abuse. And they're accusing all of these fine, young, patriotic, self-sacrificing gentlemen of being grifters and scam artists, as if they don't want your kid to be educated. They want to just cut the Department of Education. You'll see in the next clip that after this one, I'm going to show you another longer clip. These guys are incredible. No one should disagree with it. You're free to disagree with it, but no one will ever give you a rational reason for disagreeing with it.
These rent out stadiums, et cetera. And so the one change that DOGE made with Department of Education is we had the simple requirement that if you draw down money, you must first upload a receipt. That was the only change that was made. You must upload your receipt. And upon doing so,
Yes.
nobody drew down any money anymore.
Yes, but we didn't say that we'd check the receipt. You could send a fake receipt. You could send a picture of your dog. Anything. Anything. And but as soon as we asked for anything at all, suddenly the requests were like, oh, we don't need it anymore. Huh, that's interesting.
They were renting Caesar's Palace.
Yes, they were like basically partying on the taxpayer money.
Stadiums.
Yes.
Leasing stadiums.
Leasing stadiums.
For what?
For parties, basically.
For parties.
Yes.
That's a big party.
It's a big party.
You'd think if you were stealing, you'd start small.
They do start small. But then what happens is over the years, so generally the fraud starts out small and they try to hide it. But then year after year, if nobody stops the fraud, it gets more and more brazen. And every year it gets bigger until they're literally renting out stadiums.
See, what drives me crazy is that the media won't get this message out, guys. We have to get the word out about this, what they're exposing. And remember, they're the best. These guys are getting, all of the people around this table have had their lives threatened for doing this, for exposing that people were given a blank check from our government, from your taxpayers, to rent out a stadium and throw a party, to rent out Caesar's Palace and throw a party. Those are the stories they won't tell you. They'll give you a story of like, hey, this starving guy over here, he didn't get his food. This park ranger, he didn't get to go to work. They don't tell you this story. And a media informing you would at least tell you both stories. But this story of DOGE will not get covered by the mainstream media because it is purely politics. They're only going to give you the Democrat side that gets their Democrat people elected and get Trump thrown out of office and bankrupt Elon Musk and his businesses. That's why we're covering this story. It's important for you to hear the other side. We're the other side.
What does Big Balls do?
Right now, I'm working on some payment computer stuff. So one of our initiatives is to root out fraud and waste. And to do that, we started looking at the payment computers. And as mentioned earlier, like there is no accounting of what payments actually go to in the payment computer. So like you look at a specific line item, like $20 million. You're like, okay, well, what is this money going to? And for the majority of payment systems, it's like, well, we don't really know. And
Yeah, they're like, what?
What do you say when people just say, I don't know?
Well, it's a huge cause for concern because like the upstream thing, which is distributing the money, literally has no checks and no accountability to the actual American taxpayer. So it's a huge vector for fraud, waste, and abuse.
Do these people not respect taxpayer money?
I mean, there's no incentive to if you work in the government. I think the incentives will always decide the outcomes.
Yes.
There's no incentive for accountability in this government money. They're looking at $20 million being paid out. There's not a receipt. I mean, there's not a proof of where it went, of who ordered it. And it's not like some guy is hiding it. It's no one knows. And then the Democrat Party and the people that are burning down Teslas and want to reform this out of existence, okay, they don't want you to know. They're saying it is wrong to ask where the $20 million is going. That's yours and my money that we have a God-given right to, and the government takes it, and it's immoral. The Bible says I have to pay my taxes. So I pay my taxes. And so the government says it is immoral for you to not pay this. And then they turn right around and say it is immoral for you to ask where it's being spent. That's not American. In America, you have a right to accountability. You have a right to government transparency, especially from every politician that ever told us we're going to have a transparent government. It is right to hold them to that promise. These guys are acting on it. And then the liars and hypocrites are saying, don't look. That is 100% the Democrat Party. 100% these charities, Catholic Charities, USAID, They're 100% the ones that are lying and saying, do not look. That's immoral. And that's why I keep making fun of them so much. Okay. That's just so you guys know where I'm getting all my juice from.
Do you guys feel like you're putting yourself at risk by doing this because you're stirring up so much hostility by these people ripping us off?
100%. Well, we don't need to speculate about that. You can see online in the protests, they make that very clear. I mean, I've been hanged in effigy many times. There have been people that have actively advocated at these violent protests for my death, and have also advocated for the death of the people at DOGE.
So all these kids, 18, 19-year-old, 21-year-old geniuses, we're going to get to a guy's story in a minute who gave up his Harvard schooling to go and work for DOGE. They're all getting their lives threatened. They're not getting their lives threatened by Republicans or Christians or the Christian white supremacists they keep making up that don't exist. No, they're getting their lives threatened by the woke, by leftists, perhaps even by Christian leftists, certainly by atheistic progressive leftists and hippies. The left is peace day by day, no war. Those people are threatening 18-year-old kids' lives that are just trying to expose the truth. I'm calling them out on my show. This is a Democrat-only thing that you are threatening the life of 18-year-old kids that are basically going in and performing an audit to bring you the truth, just to show you what's there. And you want to kill them.
The young folks of us have gotten hate mail, threats from reporters and the public alike. I think, speaking for myself, I dropped out of Harvard and came here to serve my country. And it's been unfortunate to see, lost friendships. Most of campus hates me now. But I think fundamentally, I hope people realize through conversations like this that reform is genuinely needed. And
you know what? It won't help a Democrat. You tell me in the chat below, guys. He says, hopefully through conversations like this, people will come around to stop hating me. Will Democrats stop hating this fine young Asian man who was at Harvard that is used to be like Democrat royalty? Now they want him dead. They're threatening his life. Will it change? Tell me in the chat below. Because I think Democrat Party, I'm not exaggerating. They act like a cult. They are like a pagan religion. And all they know is this guy is DOGE. This guy is DOGE. These guys are experiencing real persecution. I got that in Hollywood. Look, all they need to know is that you're a straight white male. In this case, he's not white. A straight Asian male isn't going to do any better. They hate Asians too because they overperform, though they're also a minority, which totally undermines all the claims of DEI that they're victims somehow. This guy I got bad news for you. Telling people the truth is not going to turn it around for Democrats. It's a cult. It's a cult.
And if there's one, I think this is important to say, if there's one group of people who really have a shot of success, it's the people here. They're up until 2 a.m. Monday through Sunday. DOGE does not recognize weekends. We're working all the time.
What inspired you to drop out of Harvard to do this?
There's a lot of reform that's needed. I think the value of this and the impact here is so much more vast than anything you could learn in a classroom doing computer science.
You guys are up all night. You have this meeting at 10 o'clock every Wednesday?
We'll probably go back to work right after this.
Yeah.
You're going back to work after this?
Yes.
Right.
It's almost 11 o'clock.
So that's early. That's early.
It's early? It's an incredible work ethic. You guys should be really, really proud of yourself.
Yeah, you should be proud of yourself, other than you probably will never be able to work again for a Democrat at any of these computer companies, any accounting firm. Democrats won't hire you. They keep talking about DEI. We have to give minorities and make sure there's ethnic diversity here. This Asian DOGE guy comes in and it's like, leave. We'll hire a white, straight liberal over you. Suddenly DEI is going to magically go away because it was always about politics. They never cared about minorities. They never cared about gays. They never cared about women. They never cared about you going in a wheelchair. If you're a gay woman in a wheelchair and you're working for DOGE, your career is over because it's a cult. Democrats are a massive cult. Pray for these kids. He's incredible. They're up all night and they don't recognize weekends, they said. This is the most, and look at how they're snappy suit. I like it that they're in suits at 10 o'clock at night at a meeting. These are the greatest American youth I've ever seen. And Democrats hate them. Feminists hate them. The woke despise them. The Christian woke that claim to be liberal Christians, they want him dead. I'm Doug in Exile.